All right, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I'm right near the Mississippi River here, and I thought you should consider this about the stationary and level Earth. I'm on a tugboat museum here in Mississippi, and I'm going to take us for a little tour. It's beautiful here. So this is right next to the Mississippi River, and apparently we're at right about 53 feet above sea level. And so I will show you one of the interesting dynamics with this. It's a really heavy boat or ship. It's a tugboat. One of the things that I wanted to highlight here would be the hydrographic survey. This is produced by the Army Corps of Engineers here. And I just wanted to show some of the material that we can evaluate when looking at the stationary level Earth and the empirical evidence that shows that. The fact that a heavy ship like this floats on water is amazing. Some of the physics and properties of water. It doesn't compress. It seeks its level. Covers the face of the stationary and, of course, level Earth. The museum here has video. I don't know if my battery is going to last or if I'm going to be asked to not photograph once I get inside the museum where it's staffed. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this now and start here. Apparently, Highway 20 is like about 2 miles from here, 2 miles south of here. When I was there, I was talking to the representative at the Welcome Center, and she said that the sun would be setting around over there today, and in the summer it will be setting way over here. It's kind of interesting because the biblical proclamation is verified by our observations. The sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary and level Earth. There's 2 massive diesel engines with direct drive shafts to massive propellers moving, so they'll use these vessels to move barges and that. So the mighty Mississippi is something to look at. It's the third largest watershed in the world. What I'll be doing, I'm on my way back to South Carolina, and I wanted to stop in here and show what this is like here. It's pretty amazing, actually. And I'll be adding some videos that cover the Mississippi River. If you've got any that you have as favorites and you would like to add them as a compliment, that would be awesome. Let's see. So even in the small little puddles like this, those are clues. So what I'll do here is just take this camera down and show the physics and properties of the water. When it's undisturbed, the surface of water is not only flat, it's level. We know we have texture above and below sea level, apparently about 5.5 miles of elevation with Mount Everest. I was talking to Al at the Welcome Center, and he's seen a change in the water elevation of around 10 feet from time to time. And of course, we've got records of substantial flooding that has occurred. It's kind of interesting. I didn't come in this way. There's different passageways to get downstairs, evidently. I didn't take the right one out. So there was a video loop playing up in the library, and the quality, because of lighting and that, wasn't quite what I had wanted to show. So I'll find documentaries on the Mississippi River. I believe it's important evidence to show a bit of the world that we live in. And the locks system would be when there's more significant changes in the elevation of the water. Then we've got, of course, some of the photo evidence of vintage equipment. And yet it's still very important evidence, all of it. So I'm going to just quick show us the, you know what, I'm thinking if I take us down into the engine room with all the steel, I'll probably lose my broadcast. So I'm going to take us on into the museum and show you that. Hey, good afternoon. Where are you all from?
Gloucester, Mississippi.
Excellent. Hope you enjoy your day. It's a beautiful one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I met a gentleman that has kayaked. I met him this morning, just a little ways from here. He's kayaked 1,800 miles from Minnesota, apparently, so far. So even though there's current there, we can see the reflections there. It's not as precision. Now they have this turned off because of freezing, evidently. It all has to do with perspective. Good afternoon. Hi there. Hey, glad you made it in. What a cool place, huh? You know, a lot of this technology has changed. However, the water is still the world's natural level, covering an estimated 70% of the earth, seeking level wherever it is, whether it's here or your restroom. Wow, this is so cool. So what I would be wondering on this particular number right here, it's saying that it drops 1,475 feet of elevation. Not buying it. There's not 1,475 feet of locks. Just came back from the Flat Earth International Conference in Dallas. Met some awesome people. Friends and family from all over the earth. So when we look at information, contradictory perspectives can't both be correct. They could both be wrong. By irony and paradox, the deceived are unaware that they're deceived. Now, to be intellectually honest, I could be deceived about something. The water is demonstrably flat and level when it's undisturbed. Sophisticated laser equipment utilizes a liquid to calibrate. a machinist level, right down to so fine a degree of accuracy, uses liquid. Because of perspective, we can see this fish now and it's so clear, but in an ocean, looking down at the water, the reflection interrupts the view of that. So largely we can't see what's beneath the water. Apparently, we've only explored about 5% of the oceans of the world. So in looking at this for the first time, I've been here just a little while, look at the amount of distance traveling and the amount of elevation that was said that there is in change, the change of elevation apparently that they're saying exists. I don't believe that's possible. It doesn't reflect reality. So when we look at information, how will we be able to determine the accuracy of it? So even on this vintage photography, look at the reflection. I'm going to work my way around and I'll get a better view of it. We had a great flood that covered the face of this earth. Oh, here we go. Here's the water. Look at that. And then there's the drain. Okay, so let's do that again. I'm gonna hit it. There's the little surge of water. That was a cool reflection, eh? Okay, let's do that again. Look at the reflections there. Isn't that amazing? So reality basically exposes the impossibility of the globe. I'm not saying that the firmament looks like this shape necessarily. I believe it would maybe be like a hemisphere. It could be. We don't know. We do have a structure above the earth that separates a tremendous amount of water that's above the face of the earth. It's called the firmament. So is it true? Whatever it is that you're looking at, how can you know? I believe God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. I'm actually in Vicksburg right here, Vicksburg, Mississippi. We have weather modification that creates storms and floods and droughts. You can hashtag weather wars. People die, people commit suicide when they lose their livelihood, family members, human tragedy. You can look at the flooding if you care to see what I'm talking about there. Much of that information we've already seen. It continues to happen though. These are also meant to be a documentation of individuals you may want to reach out to or search terms. The Army Corps of Engineers is certainly a place to look at much of this, with hydrographics being pretty important. I'm not using a gimbal with this one because, with this recording, simply because I can get more precise camera placement. So this was 2005 when I tried ending my life with an overdose of sleeping pills because I could not stand the pharmaceutical modification of my perspective. I was in a suicide ward recovering when Katrina did this. We do have high altitude photography and videography. I do what I do because I want to expose the reality of the world that we live in and the battle that we're in between two families, God's family and Satan's family. I wanted to put the YouTube Truth logo on there again. You can hashtag my name. Reach out anytime if you like. 1-843-504-1776. I met Victor today. He and I had a nice conversation down by the Mississippi. He was talking about how the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. And I'll tell you what, now that I'm born again, I am so grateful. Now, look at where we've been. You know, those photos are probably more than 100 years old. There is mystery with history. Did they know they were capturing no curvature on the horizon there? Did they know that when they took it? That's not a curve, that's a slant. That's flat and level. The clues are all around. Powerful documentaries exposing that. I cover the medical and military industrial complexes. Pharmaceutical, big part of that. Look at the levee system. All you need to do is change a little elevation and you can stop the floodwaters from overflowing and flooding so much. Look at the human tragedy. So look at the human tragedy here in 1927. I'll just let the video speak its. It's hard to look at. Hi there. You can hashtag weather wars and see how there's already declassified and public information on weather modification. Apparently, the Navy owns the weather. That's one of their proclamations. It's a weather weapon. Weather wars, hashtag it. I've got content that I've created. Look at these people. Drowning is one of the number one causes of death for what they call natural disaster. However, one of the things to consider is 7 people per second no longer have their human experience. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. Those of us that are human, artificial intelligence, your days are numbered. Satan and all your cohorts, your destination has been determined. All God's children will spend an eternity in heaven. That's why I'm so passionate about exposing the reality of the world that we live in and proclaiming the gospel. My YouTube Truth playlist is an audio Bible. I encourage, merged with the beauty of creation. I encourage everybody to get your house in order because artificial intelligence is not like a helpful assistant only, and it's not just about robots taking jobs. With weather modification and control that AI has over the distribution of electricity and information and all of that, people are making choices based on deception, based in many cases on a false understanding of the actual situation. Now, probably most of these people are no longer alive in this earth experience, this life experience here. I've got flood pictures on my photo album showing more modern vehicles. The flood waters came up in our neighborhood with Hurricane Florence. People died. That's what happens. Flooding is tragic. And then, by irony and paradox, we don't know what we don't know. What I'm interested in is the locks system all over the earth, actually. The Nile River apparently flows over 4,000 miles, ignoring massive amounts of curvature that's obviously missing because, well, water seeks level. That's just what it does. So now there's far less cotton for fabrics, and we're using, like what I'm wearing is mostly polyester. Look at the mirror that water is. So time-lapse videography is on my channel as well, showing just the beauty and majesty of creation, especially nighttime, showing the aurora borealis and the stars, just absolutely gorgeous. Nice thing about this is that you can stop the video and read the text if you want to. So in a little more than 100 years, look at how things have developed. How'd that happen? How did that progression take place? Definitely a massive increase of information. I really appreciate all your likes and encouragement and sharing. When I like this video, it's going to be added to millions of occurrences of my liked videos playlist. If you make your liked videos playlist public, when you add a like to a video, it'll go to all the pre-placed occurrences of that. I copy and paste my liked videos playlist on my photos, videos, everywhere I can. So these were instruments for hunting and digging and all that. So we can look at the history of our world and see how rapidly in the last 100 years, how things have changed.
Environmental restoration and other work. As a result, the benefits of living near the mighty Mississippi increasingly outweigh the risks. The Great Flood of 2011 was one such risk. With record flood stages predicted, Vicksburg had an uphill battle preparing for the fight. Thankfully, they were more than ready, as several flood records were, in fact, broken. Towns were saved, thanks to the work of the Corps and the foresight of developing and implementing the Mississippi River and Tributaries Project. Though there were losses from the 2011 flood, efforts by the Corps made in conjunction with the people of Vicksburg helped to prevent devastating damages. By working together, federal, state, and local interests are able to create workable solutions that support economic growth and our environment. These projects enhance our country's position in the world market and improve our ability to respond in cases of emergency. As you explore the displays today, we invite you to learn about Vicksburg's history and the river upon which it was built. The mighty Mississippi tells a fascinating story, shaping the way we live and who we are. Together, we'll keep building strong. understated power present in this image. The power to change life itself. And as you will discover, it takes the commitment of everyone who calls this place home to ensure that the mighty Mississippi remains a functioning form of beauty for generations to come.
So the screen is curved, just so you know. It's concave.
The Mississippi River is the largest river system in North America, meandering back and forth through the heartland of the United States for more than 2,300 miles. It makes its way from the headwaters of Lake Itasca, Minnesota, to the mouth of the Gulf of Mexico, over the course of 90 days. Along the way, several other rivers join this marvelous system, eventually draining over 41% of the continental U.S. That includes 31 states and 2 Canadian provinces. In fact, the Mississippi's watershed covers nearly 1.25 million square miles, making it the third largest watershed in the entire world. Throughout history, the sheer size of the Mississippi made it an irreplaceable resource. It served as a valuable lifeline for Native Americans, opening up important trade routes. It became a strategic ally for Europeans, joining settlements and providing military advantages. It served as a way of travel and a primary means of commerce during America's early days, just as it continues to serve as the backbone to our great nation. Following the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, river towns began to develop. One of these towns, Vicksburg, quickly became home to a bustling river port and was officially made a city in 1825. Real dangers existed living within such close proximity to the river, however. From the beginning, it's been a tenacious enemy during times of flood, disrupting trade, forcing people out of their homes, and in some cases, costing them their lives. The first U.S. Army Engineer Office opened in Monroe, Louisiana in 1873. Later that year, the office moved to Vicksburg. An act of Congress made the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers official in 1879, creating the Mississippi River Commission to oversee all functions on the river. That same act directed the Corps to carry out the necessary flood control measures, and hundreds of miles of levees were strengthened and raised. It seemed, with a little planning, the Mississippi could be tamed. Then, in 1927, devastation. Epic flooding ravaged an area covering 27,000 square miles and driving 500,000 people from their homes. It was one of the worst floods on record, affecting parts of Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Following the 1927 flood, the Corps recognized that relying solely on levees for flood protection was impractical.
So just to illustrate, in that, the size of that was massive.
Larger than anyone could imagine. They called it the Project Flood Design.
So you could research the 1927 flood. I'll be doing that.
Spillways, levees, and navigation channels. It also allowed for modifications to accommodate the developing river over the years. 14 cutoffs were made, creating new channels. This allowed the river to handle an increased volume of water more quickly and shortened its overall length by 152 miles. The current Project Flood Design was developed between 1954 and 1955 project. It resulted from cooperative effort between the Weather Bureau, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Mississippi River Commission, the MRC. The MRC manages the Mississippi River and Tributaries Project in conjunction with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Mississippi Valley Division, which oversees the entire Mississippi River. Both are headquartered in Vicksburg. Working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Research and Development Center to continually develop new engineering ideals to help reduce risk. The Coast Guard helps to keep navigation open, while environmental agencies ensure natural and cultural resources are protected. Today, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is entrusted with maintaining a viably strong Mississippi Riverway. This means providing quality engineering and services to develop and manage the nation's water resource needs in an economically and environmentally sustainable manner. Vicksburg's 68,000 square mile district encompasses 7 major river basins, including 278 miles of the Mississippi River's primary stem in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. The district is also responsible for about 800 miles of commercially navigable streams and rivers. Over $200 million have been allocated annually in recent years for core projects, including navigation, flood control, environmental restoration, and other work. As a result, the benefits of living near the mighty Mississippi increasingly outweigh the risks. The Great Flood in 2011 was one such risk. With record flood stages predicted, Vicksburg had an uphill battle preparing for the fight. Thankfully, they were more than ready, as several flood records were, in fact, broken. Towns were saved thanks to the work of the Corps and for the foresight of developing and implementing the Mississippi River and Tributaries Project. Though there were losses from the 2011 flood, efforts by the Corps made in conjunction with the people of Vicksburg
Hi there.
helped to prevent devastating damages.
So there you go. That's the loop of the video, but I wanted to go ahead and complete that for you to see.
Are able to create workable solutions that support economic growth and
So the idea to look at the big picture, what I'm wanting to help illustrate, we've got sea level all around the North American continent, and the tributaries and the Mississippi River is an indicator that there's not the curvature that they say there would be on the Earth. It's even interesting to see how this display looks with a round container for that. But I'm going to explore the locks system, the St. Lawrence Seaway, and more. I've posted some information like the Niagara Falls in New York that involves some of the, of course, the Great Lakes and the water that flows to Niagara. So we're right about there, right here. That's where I started.
500 feet, as much as 500 feet in 1 year. We're trying to slow that process and keep the river in a predictable spot, which means with predictable navigation and consistent navigation.
Welcome to the Corps of Engineers map sinking unit. This goes on typically about 4 months a year, a low water season from about August to November. The map sinking unit comes along and carpets the bank from the water's edge out into the channel with articulated concrete matches. This mat will end up under the water. The purpose for that is to keep the river bank stable, to keep it from slumping off and going into the channel, and have to dredge that material further down the river. If that material were to end up into the channel, then it obstructs navigation. We maintain a 300-foot wide by 9-foot deep navigation channel so the tows can move up and down the river with their cargo. There are parts of the river that are more susceptible to scour than others, typically in the bend. So when the river comes around the bend and attacks the bank, it creates erosion. And those are primarily the places that we focus.
On its own, the river would like to move 500 feet, as much as 500 feet in 1 year. We're trying to slow that.
So 300 feet wide and 9 feet deep was what he talked about the channel for travel. Let that sink in. When you're talking about, when they say a elevation change of 1,500 feet, that's not happening, as best I can tell. I've looked into this some before. I'm gonna, like I said, update my playlist to include that information.
The mat sinking unit comes along and targets the bank from the water's edge out into the channel with articulated concrete matches. This mat will end up under the water. The purpose for that is to keep the river bank stable, to keep it from slumping off and going into the channel, and have to dredge that material further down the river. If that material were to end up into the channel, then it obstructs navigation. We maintain a 300-foot wide, 9-foot deep navigation channel so the tows can move up and down the river with their cargo. There are parts of the river that are more susceptible to scour.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. So while I'm on my way back to South Carolina, if anybody would like to give me a call, that's totally cool. You can Facebook Messenger me if you like. So this is the tugboat that we were walking through together. I'm virtually out of stickers, so just as a concept, if you see one of these and you want to copy and paste it, or what I should say is you could take a picture of it and share it if you like. If you actually create the hyperlink in many comments section on YouTube videos, it probably will get marked as spam because it's an active link. Just something to keep in mind. If you don't get any comments on it, that's a clue. I'm pretty much muted on many of the videos that I'm actually in, where they're mocking the search for the truth about the world that we live in. That's by design, of course. Whether it's the ocean, a puddle, the mighty Mississippi, it's just what water does. It doesn't compress. Look at the hunk of steel that this is. My dad used to sell steel to shipbuilding companies and race car manufacturers and tank and military truck, Oshkosh truck in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And I've been paying attention for a long time about how things work. And then I found out that a lot of what we were being told was a lie. And I wanted to know the truth about it. So you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Do you know the truth? How will you recognize it when it's right in front of you? I'm speaking of reality, not just the truth mobile. I'm talking about reality. When you see it, will you recognize it? It's a concept of that. So there's a wide variety of topics that I cover. You can scroll through the playlist and check that out if you like. I think that's about right. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Thank you so much.